Welcome back to the Milk and Cookies podcast. This is the super amazing podcast that has everything to do with the fine sport of American football and has absolutely nothing to do with milk and cookies. My name is Alex, and I am, of course, joined by Leon today. Welcome back to the third episode of our Miami Dolphins breakdown. This is the series that is just about the Dolphins, no other team. As you guys already know by now, my favorite team is the Dolphins. Leon's favorite team is the Dolphins. So, let's get right into it. So just in this past week alone, I'd say the biggest thing that occurred sure is the Isaiah Wilson trade. Coming out of Tennessee Titans, Isaiah Wilson was drafted 29th overall in the first round of the 2020 draft. Had a super stellar rookie year. No, not really. He played 4 snaps, 3 of which were on end of the game, kneel formation, throwaway, garbage time, and the other snap was probably nothing. A lot of problems off the field, so many, it's a little crazy, but the Dolphins got him for an absolute steal. Right tackle, 7th round pick of this year, and we get Wilson, and the Titans 7th round pick of next year. So let's get right into it. Leon, what do we think about this trade, dude?
That trade was a steal, even with his problems. Like they said, him and Flores went to the same high school, and Flores has knew this kid since he was a freshman in high school. So if anybody can turn him around, it can be Brian Flores. And I'm hoping he turns around into that top, that first round talent. And we can bring him along, to the
that would
coaching
be.
staff.
I mean, my favorite thing about this trade is something that, especially with Sewell, it'd be the same aspect. You have him at right tackle, and if he's a solid guy, keep him there. And then you just shift the line over. You put Kinley in to right guard. You move Hunt to left guard. Keep Jackson where he is. Keep Karras maybe for another year. Maybe we get Corey Linsley in free agency. I don't see anybody getting past this line. This is a super stellar line. The only thing that I have a problem with this Wilson trade is that it's not really a high risk. It's more of a low risk, high reward. But in terms of draft, it is a very high risk. As we know, Penei Sewell is in the draft. The Dolphins, he should be available at 3 unless something crazy happens. But the Dolphins were, or at least to me, I wanted to get him. But with Wilson, Sewell may not be the option for the Dolphins. So right into this trade thing, into the draft. The draft is about a month and a half away from right now. Is Sewell not going to go to the Dolphins? Who should the Dolphins take at number 3, or are we going to trade back?
Well, we're definitely taking a receiver, I believe. With this, getting Isaiah Wilson, we're going to take a receiver, and then after that pick, probably a running back. Get our offense flowing for Tua, get him some weapons.
That would be nice. I would say, I'd still say if we're stuck at 3, I would not mind Jamar Chase. I still think he's my wide receiver number 1 out of the 3. Smith and Waddle are great, but I'd still prefer Chase. Or we can trade down. That's always an option. So speaking of running backs, currently Aaron Jones is the favorite that the Dolphins are going to sign in free agency. His contract is supposedly going to be about anywhere between $12 to $14 million a year, most likely 2 to 4 year contract. But not only Robinson, another free agent that has now gained a lot of ground is James Conner out of Pittsburgh, a guy that was undrafted out of Pitt, kind of flown under the radar, had his problems with injury, but he's now a favorite to also go to the Dolphins. So, what are we going to do now? Are we going to get one? We're going to get both? Who do we like more?
I say we go cheap, man. I say we go for Conner. He's a
really?
Yeah, I say we go cheap. We got Myles Gaskin out there. He's cheap. And then we draft a running back. What is your take on that?
Honestly, I don't know. The Conner one would be decent if you can get him for cheap, but knowing how players are going to try, he's obviously going to try and get top dollar. Personally, if it was up to me, I don't take either of them. Keep Gaskin as number 1, and then you get Harris, Etienne, Williams, or somebody else later in the draft, 2nd or later. And then just to have a tandem running back duo from that point forward. Obviously nothing can really – I don't know. The Dolphins have had problems at running back since the primetime Jay Ajayi period. I still, even though Kenyon Drake was a solid guy, he still wasn't one of my favorites. He was iffy. But I don't think free agency is a way that the Dolphins should get a running back. We should totally get it in the draft, for sure. Let's see. Now, let's go to the other offensive position that the Dolphins definitely need help with, wide receiver. A couple days ago, Allen Robinson got franchise tagged by the Bears. He's voiced his opinion. He's not happy about that. Chris Godwin from the Bucs got franchise tagged. Next one up is Kenny Galliday. He is about 30 years old. I would like him to be on the Dolphins, but is his age a factor? We know Brian Flores likes to keep a team young. I mean, judging that the oldest person that's still on the team right now is Fitzpatrick, and the next youngest person, or the next oldest, I believe, is Ted Karras, who's like only 28. So are we going to take a risk and get an older wide receiver?
I feel like we would take a risk on Kenny. He could be a veteran in the room and show the receivers some ropes. He's still talented. He still has a lot of skills that we could use.
That's a good point. There's something that I saw the other day that Kenny Galliday in his first 47 games was just around 100 yards shorter than Calvin Johnson's first 47 games. Kenny Galliday is a very underrated player. I've always said this. I think he would be a great addition for sure. The only thing that I might have a problem with is his age. But then again, I mean, Jerry Rice played until he was close to 40. Galliday will probably play as much as he can, something like Larry Fitzgerald. But, I don't know. I mean, there's still a buttload of good wide receivers out there. There's Galliday, there's Smith-Schuster. But you never know. You never know with this team, especially with wide receivers. Hopefully they just don't bust. Just actually to go off of this, a couple of our tenured wide receivers that we still have on our team, Wilson, Hearns, Grant, are they going to get cut before the season even starts?
Oh, yeah. I think one of them gets cut, but I'm thinking Wilson.
Really?
Yeah, I think Wilson.
Why Wilson?
I thought his contract was a little too much, like when he signed with us. I don't know if we really need him like that now, if we draft a receiver.
I mean, let's see. Grant's contract is about $4 million. Wilson's is about $7 million. Hearns is $3 million. That's about $14-15 million in cap space just across those three wide receivers alone. I say, you know what? Why don't we just dump all three of them, get rid of all of them, maybe keep like Hearns or something because his is cheaper and he's not that bad. But get rid of Grant, get rid of Wilson, go in free agency, get Galliday, and then you just go crazy in wide receivers in the draft. Get Chase, get Bateman, get Sage Surratt, who I think is a great late round talent. And you have I'd say Super Bowl run right there.
Yeah, Surratt is a good talent. We should.
He's a good late round talent. That's the most important thing right there. He's like a good Lynn Bowden type guy. So, all right, now let's transition into our last take. I'd say this is probably, let's stray away a little bit from right now. Let's look at the past 5 years. The Dolphins have made a lot of interesting draft picks, both really, really good, like bias Tua, or really, really bad, like Charles Harris, who was useless.
Yes.
So give me your top three best draft picks made by the Dolphins, either still on the team, not on the team, got traded, cut. Top three right now.
All right, my number one is Xavier Howard. Been a playmaker, interception title king. He's always coming to play throughout. And my number two is Jason Sanders. Best kicker in the game right now to me. We signed him on a big contract. He's always there to win the game. He had a good trick play a couple of years ago. It was nice. I love the kid. And then my number three is Jerome Baker. He's the sound of the defense. He's fast and he can cover as a linebacker. He's a heart and sound to me.
Baker is beautiful. I love that man to death. He is just a great guy in the locker room, on and off the field. I mean, he's a superstar in my opinion. Super underrated linebacker. So got to go with my top three. Number three is probably not one that anybody would really admit, but I go Laramie Tunsil. Not because of him being on the Dolphins, who still wasn't that bad at the left tackle. It was a good filler for Jawan James when he didn't want to re-sign with the Dolphins. So Tunsil was good because of the trade that we got out of him. I mean, in comparison with Stills, we pretty much destroyed the Houston Texans franchise. I mean, we've gone over that in the video. The Dolphins were pretty much the downfall. That and Bill O'Brien's amazing front office skills. So I'd go Tunsil mainly because of him. It helped give us Austin Jackson from last year, and then a prospective pick. We have the third overall pick and the 35th of this draft. Amazing. Which I don't think anybody could ever get a draft steal the type way that we just did with that man last year. Number two, got to go with Jerome Baker. I mean, third round, we got a linebacker. And I have nothing bad to say about that guy. Every single week he's explosive. He comes he comes off the line, decimates. Remember when he got the Patrick Mahomes a 33-yard sack when we played the Chiefs? You muted yourself.
Oh, for the number 3 pick.
Yeah. Well, no, he was a third-round pick, and in exchange for that, last year or this season that we had, Week 14 when we played the Chiefs, he got the 33-yard sack against Patrick Mahomes, which is the longest sack ever recorded in NFL history, which is super amazing. And just to go off, I'd say number one, it's got to be the man himself, Xavier Howard, my Defensive Player of the Year 2020, the man who deserved it. But I mean, you give that man him and Byron Jones, and you can't do anything against them. You have the interception king mixed with the lockdown king, and there's nothing better about that. That's probably that's, in my opinion, the best cornerback duo tandem in the entire league. Yeah, nobody else can beat them. No one. So, with that being said, I think we're going to wrap up here. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, go ahead, leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us who your top 3 are. Tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what we did right. You want to bash me for saying Laramie Tunsil? Please do that. It'd be really amusing. But yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. Maybe subscribe if you like it. But we will definitely be back next week, and we will definitely be back very, very soon to bring the latest content. Remember, free agency starts next, or I guess this upcoming Wednesday on the 17th. Hopefully the Dolphins will do a lot of signing before the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see y'all real soon.